I just popped this out of a clod, and I'm pretty sure we have a little piece of silver. All right, folks, so it's a new day. After digging the 2 eagle buttons, seemed like I dug nothing else but lead, and nothing really good to make video. So I'm out here on this nice brisk 40-degree morning. I'm hunting this new area. This was the site here behind me. This was a home that showed up about 1880, and not too far from the other sites. The 2 eagle buttons earlier in the video came from a 10-acre site. There was 2 10-acre sites divided off, leaving a 60-acre farm, and the one here behind me was a home that was on an 80-acre farm. So we'll dig in and see what we can find. We'll see you at the first target. So I've got a good solid 70 one direction and about a 63, 64 the other direction. I actually dug one other target before this, and I knew I was digging iron, and it turned out to be a possibly some kind of a hinge. Looks like an old hand forged, either some type of a hinge for a gate or something. I knew I was digging iron, didn't get it on camera, but this one sounds pretty good. Let's see what we got here. Some very small. Oh. What we have here is a little winder for a pocket watch. Very cool. The end of it is obviously missing. And that might have even been iron. I think the rest of it's brass. That is a first for me. And I believe that is a winder for a pocket watch. Very cool. Let's keep going. Okay, I've got a good solid 78, 80 right here. Showed it was about 6 inches down. We got a little bit of rain, so it's digging much easier than it was before. So I don't think it was quite as deep as what it said. What do we have? Looks like it could have been maybe just a piece of melted brass. It's not something that I see too often. I find lots of melted lead, but not very many pieces of melted brass. And that's pretty cool, but I don't think it is anything. Oh, let's keep going. Oh, what do we have? That is another great big clump of melted brass. Well, I was digging what I thought was iron, but maybe something significant. And I think I just popped this out of a clod, and I'm pretty sure we have a little piece of silver. I'm guessing maybe this could have been, and it came out of the ground looking nice and shiny like this. I mean, I'm thinking there's no way that this would not be something like silver for it to come out looking so shiny. And I don't know if it was part of a ring. Actually, there's something on the back there. What does that say? N100? I'm not sure what that means. Something kind of fancy. I'll have to test this when I get back to the shop and see if in fact that is silver, but I'm gonna check around here and see if there's any more pieces. It's so trashy around here. So I'm gonna recheck this and see if there's any more of it, and I'll see you at the next. So I had a real scratchy signal with an iron grunt in it, and it was bouncing around and sometimes hitting into the 90s. I popped it. It was real shallow. There's still some kind of iron down in the hole, something probably a significant size. But I popped this out of the ground, and now I've got what seems to be a good solid 70. I see something there. Ooh, do we have a button? That looks like a really nice button. And it still has the shank on it. Looks like maybe just a nice flat button. That's a nice one. That's a nice thick button. At first I almost thought maybe it was thick enough to be a coin, but I seen the back first and it looked like maybe there was still a shank on there. That's a nice one. Like that. See if I can get the back marks on camera. I don't know if you can make that out on camera or not. It's a really nice button. It's in really good condition. Let's keep going. So I was swinging through here, got a good solid signal. It is shallow. I've got something, looks green and round, although I don't think it's a coin. It's practically laying right on the surface here. I'm not sure what that is. Big piece of brass from something. I don't think it would have been a button, but I'm not real sure. Maybe that was some kind of a drawer pull handle, maybe? I don't know. Well, let's keep going. Well, I found a chimney stack here that's strung out in the field. I assume this was maybe the whole entire chimney that was knocked down. And I've got an 8081 here. it looks like we may have some type of a tool. Probably had a handle on it and some kind of a hoe or something. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so I was hunting along here and I happened to see this, and I think the detector did not pick this up, but I think I believe this is an old clay pipe. They would have had a stem on here, like a clay stem, and they would have kept snapping it off as it got clogged up. They usually had a real long stem on there, and that is most certainly like a clay material. I'm pretty sure that is what that is. These would have gone back to even colonial times. The bowl of an old clay pipe. That's pretty awesome. Let's keep going. Okay, about 10 yards from where I found the clay pipe, I dug a lower signal. I'm not sure if that's everything in there. Not sure what this is, but it's pretty interesting. I don't know if this was meant to be shaped that way. I think it rang up too low to be brass. Not really sure what that is. If anybody knows, please leave a comment. Now, I apologize for the wind. We've got 30 and 40 mile an hour gusts of wind today. It has warmed up a little bit. It was 40 degrees when I started this morning, but all right, let's keep going. So I was coming along here and got a shallow 40-41. I was about ready to dig a deeper hole. I'm not so sure if that's not maybe another button. It looks like it had a shank on it. There's a two-piece brass button. The way this one's smashed, I can't really tell. It almost looks like it would be another eagle button. Gonna have to do a little bit more research on this to try and figure out what that could be. It almost looks like an anchor. It doesn't look like, even being smashed, it doesn't look like the eagle buttons, but I just can't quite make it out. Not real sure. If I can try to match it up with something, I'll certainly put a picture in there. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so I just popped really a pretty low number. It was a 25. I may have another button here, but it looks kind of thin and round. Actually, not round. Okay, so I believe that would be, it's very thin though, for if that's the handle of a pewter spoon. I know it's possible because I didn't get it on camera earlier, but I did dig another piece of what looked like right above the spoon bowl lead pewter. It was a lot thicker, but if this was the end of the handle, I guess it is possible. But I can't really confirm that's what this is, but it's about the right shape. So let's move on. So I just dug a good solid signal here. It was really jumpy, which doesn't surprise me for the shape of this thing. It looks like maybe a fancy little piece of brass. Actually, the way this thing is shaped, I bet this is a fancy little suspender piece where it would go in and latch. I've never seen one like that, but I mean, you can tell it was fancy. It looks like the top's been broken off there, but that was pretty fancy back in the day. I'm going to recheck that hole because there was a lot more signals, just very jumpy, so it might be more of this. It'd be neat if I could find the rest of it and see if that's in fact what that was. Very cool. I would suppose that would go back into probably the mid 1800s. So I'm going to recheck the hole. If I find anything else, I'll come back and show you. So I've been fighting through a lot of this iron, and I lost it. I thought I found another little button. Looks like it might be a little button. Maybe with a Oh. Okay, so I believe it is a button. Okay, so before I was getting all this on camera, I actually dug another one of these. Probably, I don't know, I dug a few flat buttons here at this particular site. This was the only one that I knew of until I found maps and realized that there were some close to here on the same farm now. That is a fancy little button. I'm not sure what it would have been for. This one does have an iron back. It's all nasty. I'm pretty sure that the other one I found was in better condition and it was gold plated. I'll have to dig that out and find it. Also, on the same site, actually just a little bit south of where this is, I dug an 1863 Civil War store card, and I will post that as well, since this is the same site that it came from. I just dug those things prior to filming anything. So I will see if I can dig that other stuff out, and I will post it as well, since I'm mentioning it here. But then we can compare this button to the other one that I found. I believe it's the same. So very cool. And I'll be back if I find something else. I was just about ready to wrap it up. I was headed to the truck, and I think I popped out another little button. It is what it looks like. It is. It does have a shank. It was an iron back. Ooh, that's a pretty little button. So the back, you can see, is pretty gnarly looking. It was an iron back. You can see that it still might have a shank there. But the front is beautifully little decorated. Very cool. Very cool. I'm going to call it a day, and I'm going to turn you around here and show you what all we found today. Okay, so all the iron, which I showed digging this, that was the handle of a tool of some sort, and there was still some very large iron, obnoxious signals in the ground, and I just went ahead and dug them to see if I could tell what it was. And in fact, it was probably, and I did not dig it all out. It was just too big. But yeah, you can see that it was probably a two-person saw. Actually, yeah, you can see how the handle would have went through. All this area at one time would have been wooded, so they was clearing it. And I'd gotten some of this stuff not cleared out from the last hunt, but I know I found some more cast iron stove legs, I would assume. We got this funny little thing that don't know what that is. Probably a strap, part of a hinge. I have dug several of these iron spikes. Do not know what they are. Some type of a loop or whatnot, maybe for something like that. It's kind of weird when you see like a gate hinge type of thing with nothing but an iron spike on it to drive it in. We had our funny little shaped thing, miscellaneous iron. I still have iron sitting there, and pottery. Part of it came from this hunt. Part of it came from the last, because I never cleaned it out. Hopefully I don't have any duplicate stuff here that was in another video, since I forgot to clean stuff out, except for the eagle buttons. If you want to see those again, clean your pouches and finds boxes out so that doesn't happen to you. Got some really cool buttons here. This one here, like I said before, I had dug one of these before. You could tell before that it had gold gilt on it. The other one did not have this iron back. Obviously, this one, the other one was cleaner. There was absolutely no iron, so maybe it was separated at the time that it was lost. But I said that I would post pictures of that one as well. And we have this other little iron back button, and that one is really cool and pretty. Flat button with a shank. Some other types of button. I had one of these dug on camera. I actually found a matching one. I didn't clean it up. And what I think is possibly the iron back off of a button. Just not positive, but and our unidentifiable button that was so cool. We had our cool little, what I think was a suspender buckle type thing. It's a little strange. I haven't seen one like that, but our little piece of silver. I am going to test that, and I'll put that in the video when I post it, but that came out of the ground very clean. I did look for the other pieces, could not find them. We have our rimfire cartridges. Our really cool little pocket watch winder key. And I know I'd said earlier that I dug a lot of lead. That's why I changed locations. This is all the lead that I dug, and I couldn't make a video with all that. That's why I had to move locations, but that's a lot of lead. A lot of little pistol balls, musket balls. Most of them have probably hit something. Well, a lot of them have. I assume that these could be, but it could be melted lead as well. Other blobs, actually, that is a blob of brass, melted brass. Not something that I find a lot of. But here's just other, actually that's brass. Other pieces of lead, big hunks of lead. When you get a signal that rings up, this was in the 90s, I believe. You can't help but dig things like that. Yeah, unfortunately. We had some other cool little brass pieces, pieces of lantern. This was actually, I had some pieces. This was actually assembled and fell apart. Other pieces of brass. Do not know what that is. 4 pieces of toe tap and are really cool. I have a matching one, and I will find pictures to compare that to, but that had to have been some type of a heel plate. It matches pretty good. Actually have 4 pieces of lead pewter utensil material. This one here you can obviously tell was a spoon, and these were handles. That would have been probably, that's a big chunk, and it's pretty thick, so I think that would have been like a serving spoon. Here's another piece of a handle. I believe it was much thinner. And some other brass items. Actually 4 more pieces of harmonica reed. Those are very plentiful on just about any old home site. I didn't show you, which I think I showed this getting dug. This is a little piece of like lead or lead pewter, and it must have been part of something. And for the shape of it, I almost wondered if maybe somebody didn't carve a duck and it's missing its head, carved out of lead or something of the sort. Maybe it's the tail off a white-tailed deer. I don't know. It is deer season here. So I think I got it all covered. I apologize if I had any duplicates from another video. That's what happens when you don't clean out your pouch. As I go back through, I will check and make sure that I didn't miss anything important, but I think I got it all. Again, thanks for watching. God bless.